Before we start the party, about a minute and a half. Sorry, we gotta wait till exactly 8:30. We gotta fix the second hand. Nobody from Interfaith Ministries is with us this morning. We don't see anybody. Rhonda, would you be so kind as to give us the invitation this morning? What's the name? Thank you. All right, at this time. Call this regular meeting, the Hill County Commissioners Court to order this 22nd day of November 2022 at the record reflects 8:30 a.m. We are in the Hill County Courtroom in Hillsborough, Texas. This meeting is being held both live in person and is being live streamed over YouTube. An opportunity through a Zoom link to participate. As of 8 o'clock this morning, we've had nobody sign up for public comment online. Before we do anything else this time, let's first get an invitation and move. Your first person.
Father God, thank you for bringing us together and helping us do county business. Please bless this court. Please bless the officials that help govern this county. Please bless our nation as we go through a lot of changes and our families. We love you and we want to be just like you.
Amen. If you follow me to pledge the text of the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the sacred flag. I pledge allegiance to the exact one state under God, one indivisible. All right, thank you all so very much for being with us today. I know everybody's got Thanksgiving on the mind this morning, so I won't spend just a whole lot of time. Commissioner Montgomery, what's going on this morning in precinct 1?
Well, our guys are, as you know, worked a lot this past year and crewed a bunch of comp time. So everybody's trying to get rid of their comp time so they can hit the ground going first of the year. So pretty slow around my place, actually.
Managing your comp time, that's always a good thing to do. Mr. Crocker, what's going on in precinct 2?
Right before the weather changed, we finally finished that 2203 project that we got asphalt on, and while we had 3 days of 78-degree weather, we got one layer of chip seal on it to hold it down through the winter. So that was right at 5 miles completed. So we shut that off, and now we're starting to work on some roads towards Abbott, try to get them ready for next summer to do 4 or 5 miles over there. You know, waiting for the holiday.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Mr. Harkin, what's going on in precinct 3 this morning?
Well, we opened a new bridge yesterday on 3335. Completed, and we're back down on 3373 Hard Rock. It's pretty bad shape, so trying to get it patched up. That's about it.
Very good. Mr. Lex, what's going on in precinct 4?
Very little. We're down to 2 people today, and we're out trying to weld up Tom's gate out there tower. So anyway,
Okay.
I think Tom, yes, Tom must have leaned over and broke it.
Oh, really brutal. Thank you for fixing that. I do appreciate it. Phil, what's going on in IT this morning?
We got the security cameras installed last week out of precinct 1, precinct 3. Thank you for accommodating us on that. Thank you for the lift, Commissioner Hawkins. That's a today. Before that, we installed the tower with the new ag extension. building.
Looks good too. Thank you.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without Tom and Ed and some trustee help.
Trustees.
Yes.
Trustees.
They
Yeah, they didn't have.
They get the trustee. Did you get a picture of Tom doing something?
Well, Tom didn't have this. Other than that, it's 3 to 5 weeks a week for IT. We're just trying to take care of whatever daily issues we're out.
Awesome, good deal. What's going on in county clerk's office this morning? Business out there for the busy.
Pretty busy.
Tom, what's going on in the world of engineering?
Good luck. Everything's kind of come about halt. I mean,
our big focus has been the radio system. And the folks at Eddie Wells take this whole week off. Every year, so we're just kind of dead stop still until next week, it really gets hard, heavy start next week. Or it's competitive news, but we got some kind of bad news. One of the things that that's required to program the Motorola radios, and you have to have a little USB dongle that has some kind of special little chip in it. And Motorola's telling us it's 10 to 11 months back.
But they gotta work around, hopefully.
They're working on a workaround. They think they can use an old one that's not being used anymore. And hopefully that's gonna be a workaround. We'll get one sooner, but we're at the mercy of that. We can't program any of the Motorola radios into our system without that key.
But all those Harris tape radios we bought, we don't have them. It's just the ones that the sheriff bought previously, when the roller, we gotta get this to people.
And, you know, a couple other offices too.
Other than that, all right, we'll get that.
We'll get it worked out. It's just a matter of just hurry up and wait.
All that happens. Anything county attorney this morning?
I'm gonna do the office Monday next week, so.
Understood. Gotcha. Good. Miss Susan, anything from the auditor's office?
Just working on reports and trying to do it.
Oh, no doubt. Everybody, this is Miss Karen. She's now next to Susan here. I'm glad.
Deal.
And so we'll be seeing her smiling face around the courthouse. Welcome to board, welcome to the county. Ms. Rhonda, anything in the treasurer's office?
Which people around and looking forward to have the right in our office and
Be an asset.
what we're in the shelves.
Good deal. Brandon, other than what we're gonna do today, anything going on elections? I know there's a lot going on.
They're just finalizing the recent election and getting all the new people into the county register.
Okay, good deal. And that's a lot. We're up to 29,000 something change, a lot of registered voters nowadays. Census says we've only got 37,000 people and we've got 29,000 change. So apparently of that 37,000, only a little over 7,000 are not voting. I will quit taking my pot shots at the pot shots. Anything from BSD one this morning?
Overhead some rain.
We do. Get to that. Real quick from this chair, so we can go through it. What we've got, construction projects continue to move along. Everything's kind of slowed down this week due to the nature of holidays. It's expected. We'll pick up again. Things are making progress finally again over at the AgriLife. There was a holdup on the septic, which was not septic, the sewer line, forgive me, which required the plumber, blah, blah, blah. They got that working. And they're still making headway over at Covington. I feel comfortable that they're going to meet their deadline to Covington. So that's nice. Huron, we've had a couple of minor issues at. We had we were getting a plumber to go out there and look at that. I think maybe that sewer gas was dented. You have a strong wind out in the north, it tends to push some of that gas back in the building. We need to solve that issue. I know that we're ongoing with cameras out there at that. We're still waiting for word from the camera people on L3, but
The two problem cameras have had an RMA issue, but it may be months before that.
yeah, when they come in, they come in. We're steadily busy in my office. You won't find me around here more if you need me. Everybody's got my cell phone. It's on my business card. Call me. Paul is out this week, like every week. She takes it. Every year she takes it. Thanks to my. She's out. That's terrible. She can hurt her when I get back. Anyway, she's out. Every year she takes the week of Thanksgiving off, and every year I promise I'm never going to do that again. And I just have a short memory apparently. So tomorrow we've got company coming in. I'll be available by call, email, but you'll have to track me down the Willow or following something. All right. Other than that, things are going fairly well. It's getting into year end. So let's get this meeting started. We can get everybody out of here and on to the next thing. Oh, the other thing too, I want to make this invitation. Today at lunch, Hunting Titan, which is one of the two downhole or oil explosive manufacturers that are in Hill County, have made an invitation to the first responders and commissioners and county officials that they're going to have their annual barbecue. And it's not just sit down and eat, but what it is actually going through those facilities and looking at them. In light of the fact that last week there was a fire, an episode at the facility that does this, a very similar facility in Whitney, I know there's some concern in the community about having manufactured explosives here. I've toured both of these facilities multiple times over the years, and I invite you to do the same. So the work and constituents. These are very safe, very well designed facilities with very isolated. It's not like one big building, they have multiple structures and they have a lot of operating procedures. And when something catches on fire, it's keep the fire inside their fence line, and everybody stand back and let it burn kind of thing. But again, if you have concerns about that, if you're concerned from your citizens about that, please join us today and you can get an idea of what the inside facilities look like and see how they're actually constructed. So. All right, moving along then, at this time, is there anybody here for open forum this morning? Nobody here for open forum? Going once, going twice, I'm gonna move along. So we have our open forum, this is to go to action on minutes, our consent agenda, invoices, payroll, and action on monthly report of revenue disbursement. You will find that between your packet, the minutes and the disbursement, and the email from the treasurer's office with the payroll and the invoices.
Make motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions concerning any of that?
I just wanted to point out, Judge, that we have that reimbursement for approval for Melissa for the uniforms.
Yes, thank you. So let's talk about an issue, we've got, and it actually leads to a couple of bigger issues. We had new budget software this year. During budget time, we agreed to several things. One of those was uniform for IT workers because they're going to multiple buildings and we need them to identify themselves. And right now, we pretty much know them, but I think it's important to do. I remember placing that in the budget. Another employee, Hill County Booking, also remembers just placing that in the budget. We did it down here. We found a couple of lines that we agreed to in court. And then I put in there, I thought I saved them. They didn't save. We didn't catch it before the final budget. So while we agreed to a uniform line in this court, it's not in the final budget. That's the reason we're asking for special permission. Uniforms have some IRS regulations. Susan's always been great about keeping up with, but I just want to let you know, even though we previously agreed to this, reason I'm bringing back something like the uniform deal, for whatever reason, that software, either my mistake, software, who knows, it didn't get saved. So that line for uniforms we previously approved does not show in our final budget. So we're applying for this out of a supply line item, but we need your approval to do so. And there's two other line items I'm aware of right now that have the same issue. So, and we'll figure out our workarounds for those as we get to.
You need a special motion for that.
No, it's just in the invoices, just to let you know what's in there. Thank you, Ms. Susan, for pointing that out. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry.
One other, I'm gonna run upstairs and get it, it was something we were confirming.
Okay. Okay, we'll bring it down. We'll still take action on today. So we're gonna move on to court orders, and the first out of court orders today is employee and wage changes. Rhonda, do we have any employee wage changes?
It's 57 that walked it. There weren't a lot, there was a lot of.
Yeah. There I go. Didn't see it in the email last night. When the email came in late last night, I didn't get a chance to see all that. So employee wage changes for this state, we have Michelle Ramirez, the county treasurer. She's moving on to greener pastures. Congratulations to her. Justin Reeder at the sheriff's office is moving along as well. Best of luck. We have Pam Rose at the sheriff's office. She is moving along as well. So best of luck to her. We have Alexa Navarrete at the sheriff's office. This is going to be again, somebody that is resigned. Best of luck to them. Ms. Karen at the auditor's office, again, welcome aboard for this next time. We have Karen Cormier with JP3, and this is what we talked about previously with Shannon Skilling. You know, Shannon Skilling with JP3 is currently the clerk, and she is going to move in to be the JP. But she wants to get a lead on training the clerk early. Karen Cormier is currently in your office, and so they're going to move her beginning, I guess, December 1st. My understanding. Yes. Okay, December 1st.
I think our first day is.
Okay. She's
Yeah,
gonna- yeah,
She'll serve the country.
good deal. Michael Knight is completed field training, so congratulations, Mr. Knight, the Sheriff's Office. Mr. Billy Olson is moving to Jailer 3. Rachel Parker is moving over to County Treasurer. She's going to spend a month there before she becomes a treasurer on January 1st. I'm glad everybody got that worked out. That's going to be a benefit to everybody, give her a head start. We have Rebecca Lord, they got her 1-year step raise at the Sheriff's Office. We got Colton Pope, and at the Sheriff's Office, we also voluntarily resigned. Those are the employee wage status changes from the state. Any questions?
Motion. The last one was resignation.
Yeah, Colby Hope voluntary resignation.
Make a motion.
Motion second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Let's move on to number 2, discussion or action on bonds. Gentlemen, I have one bond today. And this is a bond for notary for Megan Washington. And I hate to tell you, I'm not certain who Miss Washington works for.
Works over at the sheriff's office with Shannon Garcia.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, good deal, good deal. She's the new one. Okay, I haven't met her yet.
Make a motion for
Motion, second, all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, any abstentions, motion carries, thank you very much. The next one is, I have a single plat for you today, and that plat is for the Wiseman edition. This is a final plat. Signature, it's got the extraterritorial jurisdiction. So Lone Star Land Surveying. Texas and New Mexico Power to serve it. This is Hill County Water.
it's the one that's mine,
Yes, sir, this is in precinct 2.
21, 28.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Even with good eyes, I don't see that well anymore. That's the point of the beginning. That's the setback. $2106.
It's just a, I just thought 3.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. No. I'll have to pass a good time. Okay, yeah, this is one off of 2106. It has the signatures, has the verification from the notary public. Looks like we got everything we need. It's been recommended for report for action. So this will be a total of 3 lots off of Hill County Road 2106. And these lots are approximately 1.02 acres apiece.
Make a motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the Wiseman edition final plat? If not, call the motion, call the question, all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries the 22nd day of November.
I wonder how many lots we approved this year.
You know, I'm not keeping track of that spreadsheet, but starting next year, I'm going to, because I had the same question asked me the other day, and I can't really tell you. It's several hundred, but I don't know the exact number of them.
Well, I think Rusty's probably had somewhere around 500.
And you remember, there's also lots that they've made that are over 10 acres that we never see. So. Okay. Number 4, discuss and/or action to canvass the general election. Mr. Brandon Elmore with Elections Administration, the Assistant Elections Administrator gave us this morning. Brandon, you have the floor if you want to say anything.
Good morning, everyone. I, Brandon Elmore, Hill County Election Administrator, I do hereby certify the returns are as shown are true and correct as tabulated for the Hill County 22 general election. The general election was held Tuesday, November 8th of 2022. I submit the canvassing materials to the Hill County Commissioners Court to canvass votes for the November 2022 general held Tuesday, November 8th of 2022 in Hill County, Texas. I hereby certify that the following is a total of all votes received in this November 2022 general, as shown by precinct returns and substantiated reports. I further certify that the following vote total reports include votes from the early voting period of October 24th through November 4th by precincts 1 through 13, received under section 87.1231 of the Texas Election Code, as well as the election day total.
And we've got that verified by Mr. Torres in front of me. Guys, we're in a pretty good election again. I think that the major things to take away from this election is our VOTEC software. I know we only bought it 5 years ago. We need to start looking at a life replacement for it. It's starting to already have end of life issues here. So that's something we need to talk about moving forward. It's not an immediate thing, but we need to be budgeting in this next year's budget for sure. Otherwise, I think you guys did a fantastic job. We've only got 3 people over there, and you managed to cover 3 early votes for 2 weeks, plus extended hours, plus weekend hours, and then pull off the day of vote. And then they would have had this vote out a lot earlier than the night of vote, but one of the things we find is when you have a write-in, you have to go back and look at 11,000 plus ballots to physically verify that signature. So they still managed to get these things out before midnight, but still have to go back and verify 11,000 ballots. So guys, impressed, you're doing good over there. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it. So after we canvass this today, it's not like you're off scot-free. You got some more work to do, don't you?
All the time.
Okay, so now what's the next step for everybody's general curiosity? After we canvass this, I think you preloaded some numbers into the state's, is it team system?
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah, everything goes to SOS, the state of Texas, and then we have to park accounts and just correspond to everything they ask of us, just to make sure everything is correct and accurate.
Okay, and then every election, they come back and they ask for 1 or 2 precincts, they kind of audit. Is that already happened so far?
Yeah, that is the, no, I don't believe that has happened yet.
Okay, usually it's a little bit after we canvass.
Correct. Yeah, so they'll send us certain rate from certain precinct, and we'll have to compare our numbers to their numbers and make sure everything is perfect.
Okay, good deal, good deal. All right, well, gentlemen, any questions from Mr. Brandon Elmore, the Assistant Election Administrator for Hill County? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Have a motion, then a second, to canvass the vote for the general election held on November 8, 2022 in Hill County, Texas. Is there any further discussion on this canvass? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. There is the canvass. Mr. Allen, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. All right, let's move on to number 5, which is discuss and/or action on burn ban. Guys, we're under a burn ban right now. It expires on 24th. I'm having numerous people call my office wanting us not to extend it. We put the burn ban on, what, 3 or 4 days later, it started raining a little bit. We did get a notification from the state of Texas State Operations Center requesting an email that if you have a burn ban, consider not in demand, but just request leaving it on, because they said this is kind of high fire danger time of the year. I have 2 minutes about this. One, I really think the current conditions, personally, I'm not a professional firefighter, I'm taking everybody's opinions, you just get mine up front. The conditions warrant us to look at letting this thing fall off for a week or 2. That doesn't mean I won't be right back here in the next commissioner's board, but that's just my opinion. We got folks from ESP one with us today, and I'm open to anything you guys might have to say. What are your thoughts on burning, Mr. Jones?
We've got it on for the 24th. We've been promised right here in the past, produced. The ground is damp right now. We have had to come in and load all the highways, all the time. A couple of days of sunshine, we've got dry fuel ready to go. Winter is bad as summertime. The holidays are coming up. We want to sell fireworks. You and I had that discussion.
And that's actually on our agenda to talk about that next. We'll go to
Okay. We've had that discussion. So personally, I would like to see it stay on. But that is up to the court.
We value your opinion, that's why we ask for it, because we see one thing, but you guys see the other side of that coin.
We're fixing to go, and if we don't get any more rain, it's just gonna get worse.
We got you. Don, what's your thoughts on burn ban this time?
Fire traffic is relatively slow. There's been a portion of the water and grass coming up. Most of our phone calls have been agriculture related. Yeah, a lot of the farmers have got burn piles they need to clean off. I think we can let it dry, because when it expired, and again, we can always come back and revisit. Because people are gonna burn anyway, and then you got the bad ones, you know, we just rain it, and it puts everybody in a bad situation. Honestly, I think right now, the conditions for sure do not warrant the burn ban, but with the forecast being what it is, I mean, we can be right back to your next commission report talking about the same.
Yeah, and I agree with that analysis, I really do. You know, I'm not saying that we won't have another burn ban this year if we let this one expire, we could be back here in a week or two, just don't get me wrong. I've been no secret that I detest these burn bans, I detest them. Because the minute we put one on 72 hours, it rains sometimes, it seems like that's almost constant, it can make it rain, we don't have to do a rain dance, we can put on a burn. And then the minute it comes on, everybody thinks, well, let's go, okay, now it's raining soft. Well, we look at more than that, we look at the amount of dry conditions in the ground, when we get fire truck to fight it if we had to, because there's been times we got 10 inches of rain, and like, well, we still have a burn ban on that next week because we couldn't get out of that field, put out a week set of fire and paid us. So the question becomes, what do we do at this time? And like I said, I'm of the opinion to let this off, let it expire. However, the caveat to that is, if you can believe, you know, the weatherman, it's projected to be a dry winter. So far, we've got more rain this year than the last year and a half than we have in the first 6 months of this year.
Not a whole lot at one time, but a little bit.
Correct, and we got a little bit yesterday, and well, the southern part of the county, I can tell you, got a little yesterday. I don't know if you guys got any of your neck of the woods, but y'all got that. How many inches? 10 inches or something crazy up there?
Depends on where you,
Okay, depends on who's gauging it.
well, I mean, it's been spotty.
Gotcha.
North of the counties have more rain than south.
Yeah, it has, and that skews numbers as well, because when we look at the peach bar and drought index in the county as a whole, not precinct 1, 2, 3, 4. And so there's times that it skew it off, it'll be super dry at Scott's precinct, but it'll be, you know, let them know 2 at a time in your precinct. And it's a challenge of, you know, balancing all that. That, you know, goes on to the next item we'll talk about is recycled sale. You said justify saying, hey, let's burn ban expire today, but at the same time, we'll talk about fireworks, and I'll get into that argument in a second. I think that we let this thing expire and put it again on our next meeting. And take a look at it. And if for some reason we have a flash and blow up the fire suddenly over Thanksgiving, then you know, I'll call a special meeting and we'll come back and talk about a burn ban in 72 hours notice.
Let it expire on Thursday.
Mhm.
You got 50% Wednesday, 80%.
And recall, it doesn't expire till midnight on Thursday. It gives the firefighters, if this is helping prevent anything, but I kind of think the burn ban's like a lot, keeps honest people honest. That'll give, you know, through Thanksgiving Day, and then that Friday right after Thanksgiving, it would be off. We'll know by the end of the weekend real quick what's gonna happen. But again, as we continue to get these moist conditions, it doesn't mean there's no fire danger, it just means the moment. So.
You want a motion?
Well-
Thursday midnight?
Well, it already expires by operation law, the previous one, that I would just put this on the agenda to talk about if we need to re-up it, or if we need to go further with it, or we need to knock it off early. I'm not arguing any of those things, I'm just simply saying, I think we let it expire Thursday at midnight, and then we turn around and just pay close attention to what happens over the next week. If we have a bunch of fires that happen next week, then we can come back in here and talk about it again. But with the moisture we've got at the moment, we're outside of that peak fire and drought index. I understand you scratch the ground 2 inches and it's dry, but what we have to use to measure drought conditions in the county doesn't legally justify extending the burn ban further.
So really, I don't need, I mean, if you want to make a motion to allow this current burn ban to expire at midnight, we can do that, otherwise there's no need for action.
Let it expire midnight Thursday.
Okay, 1 second, motion is second, any further discussion, call the question, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Now let's talk about number 6, which is discussion and or action on order regulating the sale of fireworks. I got this in front of you early because I don't want to have repeat last one in the last minute. We can limit certain fireworks under 352 of the local government code. We have a deadline. The deadline to adopt that order is not today, it is December the 14th. We have until the December the 14th deadline. So local government code 352-051 that provides upon the determination by the Texas Forest Service that drought conditions exist, and that's where that Keach Fire and Drought Index comes in. The court may prohibit or restrict the sale or use of restricted fireworks in the unincorporated area of the county. The county also may designate one or more safe areas where the use of restricted fireworks is not prohibited. So what I'm talking about today is putting this in front of you. Again, I don't think we have drought conditions right now, this very day, today, to restrict the sale of fireworks. I don't think we have that. But I want to make you aware, this is going to be on our next regular meeting. And if it does get dry again, I'm going to ask that you guys regulate what we call sticks and fins. That's the missiles, the bottle rockets, those kind of things that we got an education on a while back. We cannot ban all fireworks absent a 481 declaration of the government code along with the governor's signature. And you guys remember how difficult that was to get earlier. I don't want to go through that scenario again, but what I'm getting at is we have an ability to regulate sticks and fins fireworks. That's the aerial stuff. I think the sooner we get the word out, the less problem it creates for the fireworks vendors, the less problem we'll have with it. But at the same time, what I just read you is what our authority is under the local government code, and there have to be drought conditions that exist. I'd be hard pressed to make the argument. But again, in a week from today,
We're got to the 14th to make a decision.
yes, sir.
This firm,
Yeah, we're gonna have the next, I'll say, the first meeting in December, a full calendar, what let you know. The first meeting in December is going to be on the 13th. So, and we can call a special meeting the first week if we needed to, but just let me know the 13th. I just want to get this out early. We put this together last week Friday. I didn't know if we were gonna get the rains we got over the weekend. We did get a little more over the weekend. So just trying to put this in front of everybody, conversation now. And, again, I don't think we take action today. I just want to put it out there that this is a possibility of something this court may do, depending on drought conditions. So
It could come up.
it could come up, but I'm gonna ask for no action on this at the moment. Moving along to number 7, discuss and or approve personal lighting for the Veterans Memorial on courthouse lawn. Maybe you guys have noticed some changes around the courthouse square. If you haven't, go outside and look at our light poles. Last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, the day before Veterans Day, I left here at 5:20 in the afternoon, and we got the old school light poles from the 60s up. When I got here the next morning, Veterans Day, I worked on Veterans Day. I'm sorry. Anyway, those poles were gone with no notice to me. Now we've been working with Hilco and so the Heritage League and Encore, and I'm not mad at anybody. I don't want to seem like that. I just had some communication issues. They took down the light poles, the old light poles. They paid Encore to do it. It's a great project they've got going on. 100% favor of it. Just need to improve our communication. That being said, over here on the northeast corner of the square, those 2 light poles. There is the Veterans Memorial. The Veterans Memorial on those 2 poles, one on the east side, one on the north. Those poles had lights that shine back and illuminated the Veterans Memorial. Well, when they took those poles down, those lights went away. They're no longer there. So it's no longer illuminated. I think that we probably should eliminate it. It's a matter of respect. I think it needs to be done. The folks that are doing this, the Heritage League, said, hey, look, they're individual that is doing the light pole install. Originally I quoted was $4,600. I said, that sounds pretty tough. And I think they're down to 3,300 now, and they're gonna install lights. Again, it's not a budgeted expense, it's not an expected expenditure, it's something I need to bring to the board. See what your guys' thoughts on this are. So what would this would do, if you approved it, it would be to replace lighting on the northeast corner that illuminated the war memorial.
Make a motion to do it.
That 30, what do you say,
3,300.
That includes lights, poles, the whole 9 yards.
It's supposed to be turnkey, yes, sir.
Second.
All right, motion is second. I'm going to ask that we pay for this out of the 105-1401-4101 line, which is the non-departmental capital outlay line. I don't think we spent every last penny yet, we should see people trying. So, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Then motion carried unanimously. Number 8 is discussion and interaction participating in the entity services agreement for the statewide automated victim notification service. That's a SPANS grant. Gentlemen, again, there's a couple of things tied to this. One is a grant from the AG. The money comes to us, and then we turn around and we kick it back out to the people that operate it. We're kind of a pass-through fiscal agent, if you will. So this is the same contract we sign almost every single year, and it's the participating entity services agreement for the automated victim notification. It doesn't require anything but some time from me and some time from the auditor to make sure that the grant is maintained. It's a very valuable service, and I recommend your approval of this agreement.
Make the motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any questions about this? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. If you would please scan me a copy of that, send it to me, because I believe I need to upload a scanned copy of that into the state system. Number 9 is discuss and or action on change order for a sound system in the Hill County District Courtroom. Asbel Electronics is one of the 3 companies that bid to replace the sound system in the courtroom, and that's who we ultimately chose to go with, was Asbel. But like everybody else in these trying times of supply chain, they're having some difficulty getting certain pieces of equipment they originally thought they could get. And I don't know really enough about what these actual pieces of equipment do, but they need to replace them. Of course, the stuff they're going to replace it with can't be cheaper. It's going to be more expensive. And they're looking at an additional $4,459.27 to get this equipment. Right now, if you have not been to the district courtroom, we're actually operating off the sound system. Mr. Tom Henrik is one of this. That's how bad things gotten up there. If it wasn't for Tom loaning us that sound system, we would be in trouble. As much as I'm tired of spending money on sound systems, I have to recommend that we do this. The district courtroom sound has been atrocious since I've been in this building the last 16 years. We have done numerous things to try to put Band-Aids on it and make temporary fixes. Those don't work. We need to bite the bullet and do it right. Asbel did a great job down at the fairgrounds. That's who we hired when we did that project. It's crystal clear inside of a metal building. It's incredible how good a job they did. They're from Waco, they're local, and they were the low bidder on the 3 bids we received for that courtroom. I don't like that we're going to have to do a change order for $4,459, but we can't get the equipment they originally hoped to put in. We're going to go a different route. And instead of waiting for goodness knows how long.
It says on the back page, it's 7,000.
What? I was told 44,59.
It's total cost of change order.
I didn't catch all that. So what we've got then is more than just, all right, so what I was told originally, this 12 fixed IO DSP 12 analog channels, there was one of those is going to get removed, is what I was told. I couldn't get that. So now what we're seeing here, let's go through it. Wireless body pack microphone system, stationary head receiver, body pack transmitter, head-worn microphone, lavalier microphone, tie clip, belt clip, battery pack, power supply, and rack mounted unit. Professional tabletop stand for wireless use. There's going to be 5 of those. And a microphone, there's 5 of those. Do we have somebody that's more knowledgeable on this subject? Because I've not been directly involved in it.
Yeah, I'll call him, we're there.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna set this aside, let Ms. Tamara Harrison in Auditor's Office, she's been going and talking to him, maybe she can shed some light on this. If I don't want to misspeak again, I was under the impression it was $4,459.
Not saying it's not needed.
But let's get some more information. That's what I understood.
Well, you can't hear thunder in there.
No, you can't.
You can't hear nothing in there. And it's gonna have to be done. I just want, because I was under one impression. I don't want to get the picture there. Yeah, I think that's a way to do things. So I'll come back to that number 9 in just a minute, gentlemen. Number 10, discuss or take action on $6,000 donation from COH Holdings LLC, which is Mr. Warren Owen for road improvements to Hill County Road 2131. And we have divorced that.
It is a county road that hadn't been actually maintained or walked in a while. And he's been good enough to donate us some funds to do that.
Okay.
And we're gonna wait till we get a release on the asphalt pile. We're gonna put those millings down
Oh,
on that. There's 2 county roads, both of them are dead end roads. And when they release that, I'm gonna fix both those roads with that material. So I make a motion to accept that donation.
Second.
motion accepted, motion and second to accept the donation from Warren Owen COH Holdings LLC in the amount of $10,000 for road improvement. $6,000 for road improvements to Hill County Road.
We tried.
Right, you out there, man.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Any abstentions? None. Motion carries. Number 11, observe and record adult probation statement for financial position of 8/31/22. You'll see in your packet, you have a document that is signed by the CSCD director and Ms. Susan Swilling, our auditor. And it shows our assets of $546,160.88 in cash. Our liabilities of $36,561.33, and your fund balances and basic supervision is $466,685.66. Community corrections $42,913.89 for total fund balance of $509,599.55. I know this may not seem like much to y'all when we move around, but I remember years ago before Mr. Greg Mason got there, before Susan got them straightened out. You know, when these balances, we had to kick money in, they didn't have a reserve. So I'm really proud of the job they're doing down there. They're doing a lot of work with fewer folks, and they don't require near as much from us these days. So we do appreciate that.
Make a motion to observe the board.
Okay,
Second.
motion second to observe and record the adult probation statement and financial position for 8/31/2022. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried unanimously. Number 12, discuss and/or action on allowing an overlap of training for JP3 clerk position. Again, this is what we talked about earlier, with the employee moving. It wasn't originally budgeted for, and so it needs our approval to do so. But it means to schedule the form there about 26 days early into the JP3 position to start doing some training down there. And of course, as you guys know, we're aware that JPs have considerable educational requirements that first year. So this first month or two, she's got a lot of stuff and maybe somebody in the office to take care of business. So I would make a motion that we allow overlap of that employee for training in the JP3 part. Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Ms. Harrison, how are you this morning?
Good, all right.
Doing good. Now we're gonna go back to number 9, which is discuss action on change order for the sound system, Hill County District Courtroom. I misunderstood, so I said, we're gonna bring the expert down here to clarify for us. What are we looking at in this change order? What are all they looking at?
So what happened was, the original, purchase request, whatever. He submitted everything to the manufacturers. The manufacturers came back and said, oh, we're no longer going to carry this item. And disregarded the fact that there was already existing orders, with them.
Okay,
So he came back last week, I believe, and met upstairs and met with the district judge and the VA. And over some possible changes that we could do to replace the equipment that they're no longer going to be able to get. And this is what he came back with. And so I scratched out where for the item that we're no longer going to be able to get. And then at the very bottom, under labor, you'll see, 7 additional items listed, and those are replacements to what was scratched out of.
Okay, so that's how to read that properly. So they took out this old wireless body pack microphone, the professional tabletop, and then they added down here the new or different ones they're gonna use.
So there is an increase, at around $7,000, just over $7,000.
Okay, so the total amount they're asking for is $7,052.15, and as far as we know, that's should be done.
So the original PO was for $27,839.51. And after they came back and had to make these changes and adjustments, it has increased to $34,891.
Okay, they've not increased labor on us. This is just the cost of materials.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
and it's just because manufacturing, they originally were like that, it's just the products.
No one get those products over there.
Well, it was a good deal. I canceled and then I could get $7,000 more for the same thing.
This is an area that I don't, I'm not an AV guy. Tom got a lot more interest in this than I do. I always feel just a little uneasy about these, electronic purchases, just because I don't feel I have a thorough knowledge as I need sometimes. But I will tell you, in the past, we did business with Asbel, down at the fairgrounds. Anybody's been down and heard that sound system, it's just crystal clear. So. Like motion.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the change order in the amount of $7,000 and. Go to exactly. In the amount of $7,052.15 for the district court sound system. And I'm agree with you, the sound is so atrocious up there, I can't hardly hear up there anymore. And I can only imagine this for our citizens to come on just pay jury service, how bad it must be. So, all right, call the question, all in favor say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Will they have any headsets? I wonder for the people on the jury that are hard of hearing.
Man, you want to spend more money on that?
No, but I'm just wondering if that was in this. Huh?
They got it, okay, so can you give me that? So just.
That's fine.
Just to give you an idea, we brought the question up now, I need to address it. So here's some of the stuff that we're seeing in here. Bunch of microphones. I see microphones, gentlemen. I don't see like headsets in it.
Speakers on the wall.
I think all it's being replaced. That's my understanding. That's a complete redo. Because, up there they have speakers that are in the ceiling that shoot down.
Yeah, those.
No, but they're like these. Remember when we took these out? These were silver originally, and now they're, for the record, anybody listening to this at home, they're white. Well, we realized it didn't look too old, took one down. Apparently in the 90s when they built the courthouse, they put the speakers up, then they painted the ceiling silver for aluminum. So they're full of paint, and I can only imagine that's what's going on in the district courtroom. But since they're 35 feet in the air, and doing very rational heights, first we do that job. But those don't work, and then what you really have to link to those two speakers that were previously replaced that are on the soft wall, and you're trying to fill that whole cavern room with sound. So no, they're going to replace speakers, multiple speakers, multiple microphones. One of the concerns we had up front talking about this, they're going to go to some body worn microphones, and just making sure those don't walk off. But they're attorneys, so they're pretty forced. Anyway, good question, Commissioner. Thanks. Number 13, discuss and/or action request for proposals for audit services. Gentlemen, as you know, our longtime auditor is retired, outside auditor is retired. It was time to go out for bid anyway. We have previously done so and received those bids and opened said bids last Friday. We received bids from Patillo Brown and Hill, Edie Bailey. We received bids from Leal and Carter PC. And those are the ones that I have in front of me. That being said, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Here it is, right here. It's the second one of my stack I skipped. And it is Belt Harris P-Check LLLP. Below bid is Patillo Brown and Hill, and by their bid, let's page 17 of this one. This one is a $30,000 for the Hill County audit. This is for 3 year, for 22, 23, and 24. 30,000 for the audit, 50,000 for the single audit, and 3,000 for the GFOA preparation. They're not anticipated, and that repeats for the next year. So a total of $38,000 for all the required audits. That's from Patillo Brown and Hill. If you go to these folks from Belt Harris P-Check LLP, page number 4, they have their fee estimate being $39,000 for the audit, $4,100 for a base fee, $4,120 for base fee for the single audit, plus another $5,215 for every major program under that audit, and then $6,500 for the GFOA. So we go from a total of about $38,000 to somewhere north of $50,000 a year with these folks. Then the next folks here were the fine people at Lee Allen Carter. Lee Allen Carter said they could do this thing for right here. If the proposal affidavit, 2 pages back. So they were they couldn't really narrow themselves down on what the exact cost of the audit would be. For the fiscal audit would be 55 to 62,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Bless you. And the single audit was going to be between $15,000 and $20,000, and then the GFOA cost was negotiated, so not the low bidder. And then the E.D. Bailey folks, they came in with a bid. Well, this is right. My fingers work better. This is easier. Their fees were going to be $61,500 a year. So Patillo Brown and Hill is significantly cheaper. We have a work history with them. They do great work. They're located in our community for a long time. It's my recommendation that we take the audit bid from Patillo Brown and Hill. Motion second. Any discussion? Now, Ms. Susan, I know that you're on your way to a happy retirement, but are you satisfied with us using Patillo Brown for an outside audit?
Yes.
Good deal. All right. I thought you would be, but I needed to ask your opinion. So
I'm getting upset her now. Yes.
no, I'm not going to try to upset. People get dangerous when they got nothing to lose, Andy. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second to approve the proposal for outside auditing services from Patillo Brown and Hill.
Just a minute. Judge Lewis made the motion.
Yes. Oh, thank you. You're exactly right. And talking to that second. It's kind of a team effort there. All right. In which case, any further discussion on the outside audit? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 13, approved to modify request for proposal for inmate medical. Gentlemen, I have 2 requests to modify our current RFP, which is due December 1st. The first is I want to back it up 2 weeks to make it due December 15th. That gives a couple people inquired, say it's going to be short notice. We can spend 2 more weeks. The second thing is I use some boilerplate language in that RFP, and one of the things is a performance bond. I don't know that they're actually required to have a performance bond on this particular deal. It's not construction. Looking back at the government code, the contract is for more than $100,000, but at the same time, it's about services rendered at a time. I don't think there has to be a performance bond. I would like to remove that language for the performance bond because it may. We didn't have it in our past RFP for inmate medical services. Not that that was a particularly good RFP. Sorry. But it has been something more than one person has mentioned, like, hey, is this really required here? So I don't want to limit our options on who's going to come forward. That's my request. Make a motion. Okay. So a motion is second to extend the deadline to December the 15th for bids to be turned in and to remove the mandatory performance bond. just to give you an update on that, what's going on, we're still receiving questions from individuals interested. Mrs. April Cook downstairs in Indigent Health is the one headed that up. She is compiling those questions, getting answers to it, and then we're going to post that document, hopefully beginning of next week on the website. So everybody has an equal opportunity to see those. But anyway, all right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, the abstentions, motion carries. Just to let you know, I will draft up a small document that will be the first addendum to that RFP. It'll be about a page or so, and I'll ship it to you to put on the website probably later tonight. Cool. Number 15, observe and record monthly report from B offices. Gentlemen, you'll find in your packet the monthly report from B offices took in $1,008,356.54 this month. The majority of that coming through the tax office, being mostly fees and commissions and interest and additional property tax. And then you can see again what I point to like a broken watch. We couldn't fit all the permits on one page this time. It's just still, I mean, and that's just what happened between the 3rd day of October and the last day of October. It's just incredible how many folks that are applying to come here for the OSF permits. Just giving you a heads up on that. But those are the B office reports. Motion second, going once, going twice, going to get a second over here. All right, motion second. Any further discussion on B offices? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carried. Gentlemen, is there anything we need to talk about on this agenda? If not,
I'm making a motion to adjourn.
gentlemen, motion second, we stand adjourned. And I'm serious, if you give them that, to go out there, any type of commission, you're welcome to do so.